Okay, we are live. Hi, this is Erin Morgan. I am the editor-in-chief of Eye Care Business Magazine, and I am really excited to be here today in our Ready to Reopen series of our live stream discussions and tours that we've been doing all month on Eye Care Business on our Facebook and YouTube channels. And I am thrilled to be here today with Optician and Optical Manager Extraordinaire, Sheena Taff. She is the Optician About Town on social media, and she is also a contributor to Eye Care Business. She writes a monthly column for us called The Optical Checklist, and she also has written a feature in our May issue, which is online right now at eyecarebusiness.com. And it is all about reopening the optical in this challenging time that we are facing. So Sheena is with Roberts and Brown Opticians in Vancouver, Canada. And thank you so much for joining us today, Sheena. We really appreciate it.
Hi, everybody. So I'm super excited to welcome you into my store to show you some of the changes that we've made to our practice in this new COVID. See, I'm wearing my shield. Perhaps an anti-reflective shield will be in process soon, but nonetheless, this is my favorite piece of PPE because it's light and flexible, and my patients can see me welcome them in with a smiling face.
I love it. And Sheena, can you tell us where you and I were talking about this before? This is the shield that's featured on our cover of our May issue on Eye Care Business, and that's from Rochester Optical. Is that correct?
It is. Yes.
That's
and you can get
awesome.
them in Canada, which was a question for me being located
here. Right. Awesome. Well, thank you. And we're looking forward to seeing what everything and all the new protocols you're doing inside. So you're outside there. What's your signage look like for when folks enter the optical?
So something that's new is you'll find my practice doors are locked. We let every patient in on a one-on-one basis. And when they are welcomed into the store, they're going to be met with our protocol sign. So they're asked to knock on the door in order to help us maintain social distancing, and that we ask that they wear a mask as well.
Fantastic. So that's great. Very clear.
And they're gonna come in. So let's go inside and take a look.
I love your door handles.
Thank you. I'm very talented.
The eyeglasses.
So when you come inside, my patients will notice first and foremost that we have a hand sanitizing station. So it's the first thing that they encounter right when they walk in the door. And we've got these fantastic touchless dispensers. So you just put your hand underneath and it dispenses a little bit of hand sanitizer. So it's, again, nice and touchless and really easy to use. So first thing that everyone encounters when they come in the shop, so that they'll sanitize their hands. Now, I've been quote unquote open for a week. We have found, obviously, there has been patients who come prepared with a mask. There are patients that, even though when booking an appointment, they're told they need to wear a mask, their reminder email tells them to wear a mask, the door tells them to wear a mask, there are still people that show up without a mask. So I'm sure, like many offices are discovering, they are going through masks much quicker than they thought they were going to. But I have really found that if a patient is coming in that I do not need to do an adjustment on, they need to drop something off or pick something up, I have set a chair right at the front door. I kind of call it the naughty chair because it's for those who come without a mask and don't necessarily need a mask because I'm not going to be in close proximity to them and we're not doing anything hands-on. So that chair is there to help us kind of minimize wasteful mask wearing.
That's fantastic. Now, do you have masks there just in case folks, somebody gets there and, oh, I forgot it, I'm so sorry. And do you have one? And so there are some masks.
Yeah. So we have disposable masks that we hand out. And like I said, certainly went through a lot more than I anticipated we would. I think it's fantastic that a lot more eye care brands are giving us opportunity to purchase PPE from them.
Definitely.
So company Moto and Dorigo, they are offering these products to their accounts and even people who don't have accounts with them to purchase, which is really nice because, you know, sometimes you go online and you just don't know where you're going to get it from, how long it's going to take. So at least this way, you know, it's coming from a trusted source in the optical
exactly,
industry.
which is much more preferred. Yeah, because who knows how long it takes to come from other folks. So just a quick note for our viewers that are watching, because I'm starting to get some fun comments in. Sonia Oliva says she loves your shield. So that's very nice. And we also have Carla William. Hi, thanks for joining us. But folks, if you're watching, feel free to let us know that you're here. Tell us where you're from, you know, what your business's name is, your optical business. And if you have any questions for Sheena, we'll address those at the end. So feel free to type those into the comment bar in Facebook or in YouTube as we go along. So thank you. Yes, so that's fantastic. So you're kind of in the front of the optical there, and it looks like you have all your frames and everything towards the front area.
So our very long and narrow, and we have frame boards that line both sides. And then at the very back of the store is our children's area. So some of the big changes that we've put into place have been removing tables. So we now have 2 fitting tables that are a very fair distance apart, over 6 feet apart. And both of the tables are set with plexiglass sneeze guards. And they have a handy dandy little hole in the bottom that we can pass our frame trays back and forth through.
Oh, that's great.
The opticians will also sit on the side closest to the frames, again, just kind of keeping patients' hands away so that they're not tempted to pick up the frames. And something that's been added to all of my frame bars is a handy dandy little sign that says, look but don't touch. So this is just a reminder to patients to really allow us to pick the frames for them. It is very, very easy to just naturally want to gravitate towards grabbing frames. And so this is just a reminder on every single frame bar to not touch and allow us to do so.
That's great. Did you make those up yourself and just kind of have them made up at a local printer?
So I actually used Canva and customized a image there and then had them did at my local printer.
That's great.
So it's also an image that I carried through my social media. So you'll find that on our Instagram page as well as our hand sanitizing one, so that the imagery is really consistent in the store as well as what they see on Instagram and our Facebook page as well.
Oh, great. Fantastic.
So when we're working with patients to choose frames for them, we use these handy dandy little acrylic trays. I really like them because you can sanitize the frames, but you can also sanitize the physical tray as well. They clean really easily. You can dump the whole thing in soapy water and give everything a really good clean. And then, of course, what is so fantastic is they fit just perfectly through the little hole in our.
Oh, that's perfect. Did you have the trays made up yourself, or were you able to find them?
I did not. The trays are actually something that I used previously for my own eyeglass storage at home, and I had kind of outgrown them, so to speak. So I ended up with quite a few of them, and we can add the name of the provider of those as well. They are still available online last time I checked. So.
That's great.
So also around the cash desk area, we've really made sure to clean everything up. So there's really minimal things on the cash desk besides a secondary sanitizing station, just to keep everything nice and clean and simple. And I have found it completely natural that patients really want to lean on the counter when they talk to you. It is a hard habit to break. And, you know, the plexiglass sneeze guards are fantastic, but They are pricey, and we have gone from 2 to now 3. So to potentially outfit the cash desk with another 2, it's a big cost for a small business. So what I did instead was I made up some floor stickers.
Oh, those are great.
And so I thought I'd be a little bit cheeky. So to say that
That's
if you
fun.
can't see me standing over here, then they're in the right place, and we're going to get them set up with some glasses to help them see better from afar.
That's a great idea.
So something that's unique to our practice is we do a lot of kids frames. So we have a very large kids area and a lot of frames for children. And initially, when I started taking appointments, I was asking the children to sit at one of the 2 front tables that had plexi. And it was, again, it's controlling how far in the store they are, how much they can touch, because kids are very, very uncontrollable in that sense.
Yeah.
And I was finding that a lot of them, they were very familiar with this space. It's their space. They wanted to come back here. It was calling to them, and they would be asking, even really little ones, like, why can't I go back there? So
right.
In order to make them feel more comfortable, we added a additional fitting table in the kids area. So normally we would fit kids at the little bar, and we would sit next to them and try glasses on in the eyeglass mirrors. But instead now we're going to be sitting at the fitting table, and I've added an additional sneeze guard. And for the kids area, this one is done in plexiglass. So
perfect.
We'll see.
That's great. I love your kids area. It's I can't believe how big it is. That's really, really nice.
It's a lot
Nice
of
to
fun.
see.
Kids are great. They posed a unique challenge also when it came to masks.
I bet.
That was something that until we started to practice, we going such a unique challenge. The paper disposable masks do not fit small children at all, no matter how you tie them or pinch them or whatever. So we also wanted them to be safe, us to be safe, and we wanted them to be comfortable. Some children that were unprepared, they hadn't had a conversation with the parents about the fact that they were going to need to wear a mask or something like that. It was a little bit scary to put this thing on their face when they weren't expecting. So I actually paired up with a local seamstress, and we had some custom masks made.
So fantastic.
We've got unicorns, and we've got Superman, and then we actually had teeny tiny ones made. And they fit so well, and the kids are excited to wear them. And then we sell them to the customer, and then they have a well-fitting mask for their child, because a lot of people were telling.
Perfect. What a good idea. Yeah, that's amazing. Well, they are very difficult to find for the kids to fit, and that's a great service to offer too, for sure.
And it's supporting another small business, another seamstress, so that's very nice as well.
That's wonderful. So how many folks are you how are you scheduling your appointments, and how often?
So I set up a scheduling app through our website, which is on Squarespace, and it was incredibly easy. You can designate which employees can do what services. You can add a time to them. You can put your employee schedule in. It was incredibly easy. It wasn't nearly as time consuming as I thought it was going to be. And it has been a fantastic tool. It automatically syncs to our Google Calendar. So the Google Calendars are open on our desk computers, on our back computers, and we know exactly who's coming. We can have their frames ready to pick up, or if they have a lab appointment, we're trying to do as much curbside service as we can, again, just to reduce the amount of touch in the store. It is working out really, really well. So I highly recommend the online scheduling. We will do this forever, regardless of the
Wow,
situation.
that's fantastic. Well, I think consumers today are now going to be so used to doing everything like that online. It's very seamless in a lot of ways. So the expectations are changing, and the way businesses are doing business are changing as well. Yes. So, and how are you, Sheena, scheduling your staff? Like, how often do you have, do you rotate staff, or do you kind of have one person in there with you every day?
We're a pretty small team. There's 5 of us. So the lab is now only occupied by the lab technician. So
Okay.
if there's any repairs or anything, whereas we would go in there and do things hands-on ourselves, everything is handed off to him. So he has a unique space. And then we had a very joint workspace in the back, 3 desks and 3 computers side by side. And so we've moved one of the computers, the middle one, to another office. And then I have my office. So we're all very spread out in a lot of cases in our own space,
Right.
a dozen or more feet away from one another. So
Sure.
again, just trying to make sure everyone has their own item. So you have your own pen, you have your own PD ruler and calculator and everything, and nobody is to touch that. We also assign phones every day. So everyone has a
Oh,
phone,
wow.
and you're not allowed to touch anybody else's phone. So it may be a good sprint sometimes from the front of the store to your particular phone, but nonetheless, it works really well because, again, everything belongs to somebody. One desk, one phone, one pen. So no one is
That is
cross-contaminating
very
things.
smart, and would make your staff feel very comfortable, about the protocols for themselves and their own safety for sure. So I want to ask you another question, but I'm just going to give a couple of shout outs to some folks that are here. We have Dale Carmel, who says that they made a Facebook account just to watch this live stream. So thank you for joining us, Dale. We have Optician Now, who says, I have found the face shields are so much easier to wear than a mask, which is great. And that's a great tip from Sheena, and great to hear from you as well, that those are really working. And she also had said, Optician Now says online scheduling saves admin staff so much time, which I'm sure it is. And then Molly Rebecca is here, and she says, thanks for the tour, Sheena. And Daily Dose says, such a smart plan. So thank you all for joining us. If you have any more questions for Sheena, feel free to type them in. But Sheena, I just wanted to ask you, and this is something you addressed also in our article on Eye Care Business's May issue. How are you folks, going about disinfecting the frames and, kind of taking them? I guess you can use the trays. You take those back and then do the disinfection and then put them back on the frame boards?
Exactly. Thanks for asking. So what we've done is right behind our cash desk, we have tools, things that we would normally go into the lab to do. We've now moved up front for little simple repairs and adjustments. And then up at the front, where it's nice and visible for patients, but it's really easy to use, we have just a nice big Tupperware that has soapy water in it. So we use this one for all of our frames that have just been tried on all of our products.
Great.
And then for patients who want to have their glasses adjusted, we actually use the ultrasonic cleaner. It has the same mix of just a mild dish detergent and cool water. But for
Fantastic.
patients' frames, the ultrasonic cleaner really agitates them. It gets everything from every little nook and cranny out of the glasses. So it also keeps that separate from the new frames, and that's something easy that we can clean throughout the day as well as we wash patients' frames.
For sure. Oh, that's such a great idea. And that's nice to have those two separate areas for cleaning. That's very smart. We have a question from Molly Rebecca, and she says, are you still seeing patients spend at the same rate that they were spending before? And she says, I'm sure you're seeing fewer patients, but is their average ticket price comparable to pre-COVID?
So definitely seeing fewer patients on a whole. I think they're still getting accustomed to the fact that we're back. Those patients that are scheduling appointments to come in and look at eyewear are purchasing eyewear, and they are purchasing eyewear at the same rate that they were previously. A lot of people had kind of put it off in the beginning of the year because this was all kind of coming to be. They were delaying. No one really realized that we were going to be closed for 2 months. So now all of those patients are ready to come back and get the glasses and eyewear that they need.
Right, for sure. I think we've been hearing that on our, we've done a series of these kind of ready to reopen tours with different folks across the country, different optometrists and opticians. And we heard from Adam Ramsey, Dr. Adam Ramsey in Palm Beach 2 weeks ago, I believe, was our live stream on Facebook. And he said that his capture rate is about 100% at this stage. Everyone's buying, it's a pent up demand, right? I mean, people were home for months, and if they couldn't get the eyewear they needed or needed an exam or whatnot. So we've actually seen, we're tracking at Eye Care Business the sales, the exam numbers and the sales numbers for frame lens and contact lens sales through our partnership with GPN, and we're seeing a big spike compared to last month in the month of May. So it's really positive, information to see, and that's great to hear. That's happening for you too, Sheena. I have one more question from our good friend Jason Kirk with Kirk and Kirk in the UK. Hi, Jason. Good to see you. He says, how are you going to make your clients feel emotionally connected to the optician? All of this sanitary discipline is essential, but we need to think about measures to improve the user experience. Otherwise, they will only treat the visit to the optician as a medical necessity. How will optical businesses approach that? And that's definitely a conversation we've been having quite a bit with a lot of our readers and folks in the industry. Because, and hopefully this isn't a forever thing, right? Maybe we're not forever wearing masks and face shields, but for the time being to, keep the patient coming back. What's your feeling on that, Sheena? How do we kind of make that, emotional connection to the patient?
I think that the face shield, I give a huge amount of credit to wearing a face shield. We do not have a doctor on site, so that's why we don't wear scrubs, which is a thing that a lot of offices are doing, but it's in our particular space that's not really appropriate for us. So wearing a face shield allows patients to see me in a very similar way that they've always seen me. I do put a mask on underneath if we're going to do face-to-face adjustments, but it's really about having a conversation with your patients about how this is going to go. I think when you have to run in a locked door, they are a little uncomfortable. They don't know how it's going to go. So I think as the optician, having a conversation, telling them this is what we're going to do. I'm going to help you pick some frames. Let's look at the board together. Show me anything you like. And we go through the exact same process that we normally would with a patient one-on-one, but we're just doing it through some extra plastic.
Exactly. Yes, I do love the face shield concept because you're not covering, and it's not so covered. And I think making that connection with the patient via preparing them and education. And I've had a couple of medical appointments with the dentist or, different things needed during this time. And I've quite frankly been surprised at the protocols and the lack of communication, on a lot of levels. So I feel like you guys are doing such an amazing job to really make that connection and educate the patient and provide clear markings and signage and things like that. And I think that's really part of the process of making people feel comfortable. We see the statistics that you know, a lot of folks are still afraid to go back to medical appointments and to the optical and to their optometrist, you know, in this time. So those types of things, and knowing that it's a safe space for them to go to, I think is really a huge, huge benefit. And I think everybody's craving personal contact, right, at this point. So coming in and feeling safe
It's
is a
very
good
nice to
thing.
see.
Yes, to see people.
And it's the way that I frame it as well is this is a very personal one-on-one opportunity to be styled with an optician. I get to give you my undivided attention. There's nobody coming in next. I'm not having to be distracted by anything, and that patient one-on-one, choosing the right frame that's going to make them feel really good and taking the time to check in, ask them how they're doing and feeling. And that's something that we have the opportunity as opticians to really take our time and connect. So if I have to have the appointment be a little bit longer than it normally would be on a regular day, that's okay. I'll block off the time just to make sure everyone's getting the attention that they require.
It's very true. And it's actually a great, like you're saying, you know, Jason just said thank you. And Daly just said customers almost get now more personalized service since they aren't allowed to shop on their own. And I think it's a benefit. You know, a lot of these times have some silver linings as well, I think, for people. You know, when could you ever get curbside service at the health food store, or you know, things like that that make your life so much easier and more personalized service, but definitely different, you know, than it was before. So I think that's a great point, you know, that they're really getting that personalized experience, and it's not rushed. You know, you're going through the process together, for sure.
Absolutely.
So, well, thank you so much for joining us. We really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. A wonderful shop. It's gorgeous. I love your wall there. Everything is like an Instagram shot everywhere you turn. So we appreciate that, and thank you, Sheena. And for all of our viewers, you can view all of our back Ready to Reopen series. We've done them every week, mostly on Fridays in the month of May. And we have some, those are on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. And Sheena was also very kind to do 2 different panel discussions with us last month in April, when everything was kind of, you know, everyone was figuring everything out. And those are also on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. We have some great independent opticians panel discussion, and also just kind of, you know, ready to how to kind of get back to business type of panel discussion as well. So all there, and visit us on eyecarebusiness.com, and visit Sheena on Optician About Town on Instagram and lots of other places. So thank you, Sheena, and wishing you a great day.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.